Saria is the most stable healing defender in the game. You need someone to hold the lane and also provide healing for your team. That's the girl that you call. It's because she is one of the first few units that people call an M9 unit, meaning to give mastery 3 to all the skills. It's worth it. Why not do so? So let's start off with her skill 1. Saria's first skill is a single target healing skill, and it heals for a big amount at 180% of her attack. When anyone around her 8 surrounding tiles, including herself, has fallen below 50% HP, then she will perform the heal. She can actually hold charges on her skill as well. It's 3 charges at maximum. So if nobody falls below 50% HP, she'll just idle and wait till someone actually requires that healing. In the case of this stage over here, you might be thinking, wait, it's single target healing. I place Saria in the middle of a bunch of people, so why don't I use skill 2, which we will learn about later. In this case, since the units that are actually taking most of the damage have huge defense and a lot of the attacks here are physical damage, I can actually allow Saria to just sit on her own, and whensoever Hoshiguma or Blaze has fallen down into that 50% threshold, then they receive that big healing. So the higher defense makes it such that Saria doesn't need to be too aggressive with healing, it's just whensoever it's needed. Later down the line in the stage, you start to see range snipers hitting onto Exia, so that increases the healing pressure that Saria needs to do, right? Now she has 3 people she needs to heal instead, so she starts running out of charges. Good thing that it charges up quite fast, as I mentioned, it's only 4 SP of a skill. But once the pressure is too much and Hoshiguma dies within this stage, it's still kind of fine because now Saria has less targets to heal, and you might actually take notice that Hoshiguma was the one tanking a lot of Faust's big damage hits, right? And now Saria being my next last deploy, she's taking the hits, but she doesn't actually die. So it's thanks to her talent. One of her talents states that the longer that she stays within a stage, the higher her attack and her defense will be. Her attack going up doesn't just mean that she only kills the enemies fast, but it also increases her healing amount. Then her defense also goes up, so she starts matching quite a bit of your standard defenders, making her tank some of Faust's big physical attack arrows. So in this case, even though I lost Hoshiguma, the stage still kind of works out just fine. Still not straying yet from skill 1, skill 1 is definitely best used if you only have a single person to heal. In this case, I placed Upianius as the last deployed, so he soaks up all the AoE firepower and all the enemies are snapping onto him. It also doesn't help that he has 0 defense. Good thing he's got high HP. So in this case, since all the damage goes to him, Saria just needs to heal him singularly. Nobody else will need Saria's healing, and that means she has one single focus in this case. It's very often that you see Saria paired together with AFK DPSs, like maybe Blaze or Taunts, and then if Blaze or Taunts gets enemies stepped onto them, Saria just stands by the side to heal them. Sometimes it's not really the case that you put your DPS in the front line, but instead, maybe you put them in the back, and then Saria is the one blocking in front. So in that case, the healing goes mostly to Saria, whereby while your Blaze is sitting behind Saria and grinding it down, and then afterwards Saria is taking in all the maybe the big defender damage, yeah, all the healing onto herself, and the stage goes fine. The lane is protected. So just for you to take note as to how to use the skill 1. Let's move on to Saria's skill 2, which is an AoE healing skill. Quite like the multi-target medics, but actually not true. Multi-target medics have a usual limit of healing 3 people at a time, but Saria's skill 2 has no limit at all. So even if you put 8 people around her, everybody can receive the healing at the same time, which is pretty darn cool. In the case of this stage, I don't have 8 people surrounding her. In this case, I just have Exu and Blaze, the usual. So sometimes you might end up using skill 2, not because you need the AoE healing, but the range is the limiting factor. Like right now, Blaze is way too far from Saria for her to use skill 1. So in this case, I'll just end up defaulting into skill 2 so that Blaze can also receive healing whenever she requires. Skill 2 doesn't have the HP threshold of like falling below 50% HP. If anybody has lost even a little bit of HP and Saria's skill is activated, she will go on to heal them. The skill is also still quite fast charging. At the very least, it is a 7 SP skill, so it is nice and quick for you to do so. Maybe you might want some SP regen in order to make it even faster, but even without it, most of the time you should be quite comfortable. I'll put Saria with a bigger crowd and also against a bigger challenge, and that is Poison Haze. So I started the stage by placing Taunts first and Saria right behind. Following up, I start placing all of my damage dealer units. So typically, multi-target medic, they can't heal everybody at the same time, right? Some will get healing, the others will sit behind and wait like, oh, please heal me. But no, Saria doesn't do that. Saria will heal everybody at the same time, which is so cool to see. It's such a big range as well. There is another additional benefit to Saria, which is from her talent, which is anybody healed by Saria will get 1 SP upon being healed. So that is really nice at charging all of these infinite skills that I'm trying to get from Taunts, Blaze, and Upenius. And also for Aya, since she's constantly healed by Saria, she gets to get more SP much quicker, so she's holding up charges that helps her to prepare against the bigger enemies coming in. This is a really nice way to think about how to use Saria. If you have stages where there are maybe AoE firepower, and you can let your units overall maybe soak up a bit of damage, right? Saria provides the healing and also gives 1 SP, a small little amount each time, helping to possibly charge up the auto recovery skills of a lot of the units, making them activate their skills much quicker. So skill 2, a very wonderful skill for you to consider. Now on to the last skill, which is Saria's skill 3. Saria's skill 3 lets her restore the HP of all allies within her skill range, which is a big range, and there is no limit to the number of targets, just like in skill 2. She'll restore for 35% of her attack per second, which could be a bit small, but it does keep everybody well and alive. The big part, however, is that she can increase the arts damage taken of the enemies in that range by 55%. So extremely good to complement together with all your different arts damage dealers from the supporters and the casters. Then, she also reduces the movement speed by 60%, which is a big amount. So in this particular stage, there is a boss that I've got to deal with, and I'm basically using both Saria and just Logos in order to deal with him. So as soon as the boss is entering Saria's range, I turn on her skill so that it kind of slows him down and make sure that she can also have that healing in place in order to not die to his hit after she recovers from the stun. Logos is of course the one dealing the damage over here, and in just a single skill use and with Saria's help, he's able to deal with phase 1. Later, when the boss returns on his phase 2, I reposition them. So the boss has a bit of a shortened range, but he hits so much harder. So with Saria's movement speed down, it definitely helps to avoid his attacks by keeping him far from Saria. And also with Logos' extended range, I'm basically again using him as just a solo damage dealer together with Saria's buff in order to kill on the phase 2. It is a great skill to still use today, and to pair with all of your other big damage dealers, you can deal with so much boss stages within the game. Let's go back in time, back to CC for Let's Seal. This attempt wasn't risk 18 but risk 22. You can see that I placed Saria in a way to not be blocking any enemies, but she's still using her skill 3. There's no arts damage dealers here though, probably because I couldn't take supporters or casters from a risk in this CC. But her skill 3 is still going to assist me because she's helping me to slow down all the enemies, holding them in place of W and Rosa. So even though it's physical damage, it's fine because I need that movement speed down. It's kind of like using a pseudo suzerain, in this case in the defender. Once Saria's skill comes to an end, then I'm changing it for Elysian skill that also has a movement speed down and also casts a defense down, helping my physical damage dealers even more. So not all the time you must pair her together with arts damage dealers, it would be ideal, but if you need to slow down a large chunk of enemies, or in this case to hold a boss, you can do so. So let me give you a quick rundown as to which skills to build for Saria. The most general skill to go for is definitely skill 2. There is no restrictions in the number of targets she can heal, anyone within her range can get the healing and it's for a nice big amount. It's a quick charging skill also, so it's really good for you to use at all times. There's not too many people in the game that can actually give a wide healing all the time. Then, skill 1 is also a great one to M3, but it's a bit situational as to do you only need her as the single healer, maybe for herself or just one other person. You do not have to give it M3 immediately, however, you can just keep it at Mastery 1 because it unlocks the importance of having 3 charges. So at skill rank 7 is 2 charges, but just with Mastery 1, she's already doing 3, which is very important for a skill like that. Skill 3 is not a skill you must give Mastery 3 to, there's a lot of buffers and debuffers in the game. But the good thing about Saria is you're getting it in the form of a defender. And it's nice to have that big movement speed down. You have to consider if you're using an art-centric team or not in order to benefit from her. So it depends on your playstyle. I don't think you must M3 it straight away. If you feel that it helps your team, go ahead and do so. So skill 2 possibly first in today's time. This one just M1, feel like you have to M3 it, then go ahead, and then this one whensoever you think it's required. In terms of a module, both modules are great actually, and it's also situational as to when you will use it. If you're trying to use Saria to heal everybody and give them extra SP, I would say that you should go for Mod 1, right? Mod 1 lets her heal allies that's under 50% HP by a bigger amount, which sounds like a great pairing with skill 1, but it's also working together with skill 2 in terms of the healing amount. And then if, again, you're trying to give everybody SP, and if you're using a Rhine-led-centric team, right? The Rhine-led operators can actually gain 3 SP whenever healed by Saria. Sounds great. Again, think about whether you benefit from this or not. And then when it comes to her other module actually lets her have reduced damage taken for herself. So this is very good if she is the main person you're trying to put in the front line to block the enemies, right? You want that sort of sanctuary kind of feeling. If you do give her higher mod levels, it will increase the amount of attack and defense that she gains, and she also gains it much faster. Instead of 20 seconds, it's going to be 18 seconds. Having higher attack is also wonderful in terms of increasing the healing amount that she gains. So this is more like a frontline Saria, and this is more like a supportive Saria. So I can't tell you which one you should go for. It comes down to how you yourself are using Saria, but at least I've explained that to you. So anyways, that's what you need to know for Saria. It's a brilliant unit. I hope she gains an L2D one day, or who knows if a Saria Alter comes into play. So that's that. See you in more operator showcases. Take care, y'all. Bye-bye.